Shaw picking up this Ahri, so this is going to be that big double assassin synergy. The biggest question is, will the composition that Flash Wolves are going to be assembling be scary? Because I feel like, what if a Braum pops in as well? But it's going to be a Nami. It's going to be absolutely scary with a big tidal wave, and I feel like that big disengage, the tidal wave and the explosive cast may be enough to deter FENNEL Adversity's, double assassin comp. Oh!
I love that final adaptation. They don't go for the Kai'Sa, they don't go for the Varus, it's somewhere in between. Kai'Sa, one of her big abilities is that she can disengage from fights using the Killer Instinct, stay alive for a little bit longer. Ezreal has that. Also has really good sustained damage in Wild Rift. As we get into the late game, Danny is just going to be able to pump absurd amounts of damage into the fight. Downside, he does have to fight front to back. He's going to have to deal with the front line, then move on to the back line. But Flash Wolves don't have that big of a front line. It's kind of just going to be this Gragas here, and everything else is very reliant on CC, very reliant on stuns, which an Ezreal can dodge, which Danny's going to be able to avoid. You're not going to be able to hit him with a bubble.
I suppose the only thing really that we're concerned about, though, surely, Riku, is that Assault and Battery, right? That's the major thing that you're concerned about, that he's going to try and hook the Arcane Shift out of.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so easy to land just because of that point and click stun. You can easily target also Doming and as well as Shaw on that Ahri. So there's just a lot of squishy targets on the board for that target and basically just burst people down. And I'm excited for this one. We haven't exactly seen the Ahri Shaw perform and shine well into the tournament. Only been picked once, and unfortunately we didn't get to see it pop off as expected.
Well, we got ourselves some new champions. The Vire's back in business once again. There's displacement, there's pick potential. Both teams have it, but which team will get the win? Let's find out and throw it back to Grandin and Domo.
Well, we're going into game number 4 between Flash Wolves and FENNEL Adversity, and we're seeing some new champions across the board here. Omo, we see Bruce kind of still playing the Lucian, but we also see the change with Cookie playing for the Vi. Instead, Doming's going to be the one with the Rengar. Power's back on this Fiora. How do you feel about this one? We're back to a similar game 2 state.
I'm gonna be real with you here, Grandin. I'm leaning towards FENNEL Adversity once again, just based off the draft. This looks like a repeat of their game 2 draft. There's a very strong split push potential. Doming on this Rengar will be looking to enforce that split push in the mid to late game. And the question then arises, who can really deal with it? A tank Gragas can't. A Lucian definitely cannot. And though Bruce is back on that Lucian, I feel like this is a much more questionable Lucian game.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit as well as what we've seen from before. Ysera, he has the Aggressor on the Undying, so we're expecting some tank Gragas stuff. But he has been known to also play AP from this angle, so I don't want to entirely discount that idea. At least going into this one now, FENNEL Adversity, not going to have some early game aggression, not going to cheese them out. Going to play it a little bit slower, wait for Domain to pick up 5, and that might be the angle that they want to try and go for. Throw of the Hunt is going to be an important tool, especially with the Ahri as well. 2 big threats that you have to deal with. FENNEL Adversity seem to like that kind of idea.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind as well, we do have to wait for level 5, that is true, but once you do hit level 5, Doming and Show, this is going to be a very terrifying duo. As they leave the mid lane together, either side that they go towards is very vulnerable to just dying. Bruce and Cookie, they look towards the bot lane. But I like this from Danny and Rafi, very respectful, just going for the recalls. It's fine if we lose the wave, we're low now, we don't want to be dived. And both teams just trading sides once again.
Yeah, trade sides, trade some pressure. Flash Wolves like to play towards this bottom end, especially now with locking, switching over to stuff like the Ziggs. It seems much better form for the Flash Wolves, for them to play towards the Dragon lane now. But FENNEL Adversity, they're happy to switch things around, go towards the Baron lane, get power ahead, especially on this Fiora.
Look at the turret.
Pay off dividends.
Look at the turret right now in the bottom lane. Flash Wolves are just doing so much damage here. Locking just blows it up 2 minutes. First turret for Flash Wolf. They're going to try to trade though. Rengar's a big destroyer as well himself. Can they do it?
Yeah, Ysera's going to face off against the Ignite, off against Doming up in the top end. The turret is looking down
Ysera
pretty low
dead,
now. It's
friend.
about 300 HP. Ysera still holding on.
No.
Might force Flash away. Might force FENNEL Adversity away, rather. Ysera's going to get out, but still gets taken down. A couple more hits. It showed that joins in to secure that kill.
A little bit iffy there, right? Because you see Power wanted to go for the kill on Ysera, while Doming wanted the turret, so they were hitting double targets. But because Bruce roamed to the bot lane, that gave Show the window to move top. They secure first blood, they secure second turret. And this is 2 minutes in the game. Both side lane turrets have been broken, so we're gonna see all the teams here congregate towards the mid lane, and Ziggs with those items is definitely gonna be far stronger than Ezreal, who doesn't even have any items to speak of. Power wants to change things around though.
I am quite curious how this one's going to play out, because in that second game, when they had the Fiora, FENNEL Adversity played it much slower. They weren't willing to commit to a lot of these exchanges. Instead, we saw 5-6.
It was 6-0 at the end of the game, I believe.
Right, somewhere along those lines, and
Yeah.
it was a very low kill count game because their main priority was around split pushing, and that seems to be the case with FENNEL Adversity. Again, if they're looking to trade sides like this, I have to feel that Power is going to have resources channeled into him, and he's just going to do the side lane. But this time around, I think, we have Bruce, who could potentially deal with him wherever he goes.
Yeah, Bruce could try to deal with him, right? The problem is doming on the Rengar. He has such a dominant performance on it in the second game, and it's so effective against a marksman like Lucian if he ever dares to show his face in the side lane. Sure, Bruce might be able to outplay the Fiora in a 1v1, but you have to factor in the thrill of the hunt coming from a screen away. That's always going to be a big concern in Bruce's mind.
So something for them to watch out for. Domeng is now at level 6. This could be something for them to try and make use of.
Yep.
Interesting to see. So Show now with the Luden's Echo, it's going to mean a little bit more waves there, but that's going to be Show kind of held in lane, not going to be able to rotate as quickly if he wants to continue holding onto lane pressure. Now in the Dragon Pit, that's going to be the blue team securing it. FENNEL Adversity find the Dragon first, and now finding a kill as well onto Cookie. Nice culling from Bruce, tries to split up the fight with the explosive cast, forces FENNEL Adversity into the pit. Danny's stuck in there, has to use the barrier, has to use the Arcane Shift, just barely gets out in time.
Yes, indeed. He gets out in time. The Arcane Shift comes off of cooldown, and that's going to be Cloud Dragon for FENNEL Adversity. I think they're going to be very happy with that one, actually, with how they want to play around the map, especially with Domeng's Rengar. I think they're going to be super happy with Cloud Dragon, and this is going to be Rift Herald started out. FENNEL Adversity, they want to contest, but no Thrill of the Hunt.
Yeah, losing a lot of these key ultimates for the Dragon now won't make it as easy for the Rift Herald. They will start things off. Nice Aqua Prison onto 2. The Charm's going to come through as well. Good damage overall for Show, but he's had to commit Flash so far. Rift Herald's looking low now. One side has to grab it, and it will be the Flash Wolves that take Rift Herald away.
Oh, this is so big. They're going to pop the Rift Herald at mid, and they have the Satchel Charge in mind. Keep that in mind, as Locking here is going to be looking to just blow this one up. Danny is not a champion right now. He has no items. It's going to be so hard for them to take these fights.
Yeah, didn't even have to commit the Satchel Charge to it. The Rift Herald was going to be enough, and now just finding a little bit more pressure. A little bit hopeful that maybe the Rift Herald will find a second charge. That being said, though, great spot for Flash Wolves to be in this time around. Being able to at least trade something back.
But Gamenism, you know what's surprising to me is FENNEL Adversity have the gold lead. And I love that comes from Power here in the Baron lane. He is so far ahead of Ysera, more than 1,000 gold up. This is going to be a very big factor. We talked about how this Fiora is a win condition in and of itself for FENNEL Adversity. And we have to pay close attention to him, as well as how Domain plays around him. Because it doesn't matter how big Bruce is, doesn't matter how big Locking is, if Power can just 1v9 the game.
I love how you bring that up, and just as we say that, Flash Wolves, they're moving together as a unit, 5 men towards the top half of the map, moving on to this turret now. And it's going to be up to FENNEL Adversity to try and find some kind of response. That Show that moves in first, pisses down the Charm. This means that Cookie's going to have his number, lock him down under Chain and Key. But unfortunately, FENNEL Adversity get away. They force them off, and Flash Wolves have to back off.
They do indeed force to back off, and Flash Wolves, they don't find a way to snowball their lead. The gold lead for Power is still growing right now. It's going to become, you know, close to a 2,000 gold lead. Nothing too severe, nothing too significant. And I do like that we see Danny quite catching up here with Locking. He's still a little bit behind, but he has the Monomune. That's going to start charging up slowly. When he hits a 2-item spike with the Triforce and the Mirror Mana, Danny's going to become a force to be reckoned with. Then he can start matching poke at mid lane and free up a lot of space here for Power.
Oh, well, start to see kind of what we're looking start to see what we're looking for from Power. He's gonna move his way into a side lane without anybody there that he can tell, and he's gonna just look for some chip damage onto these turrets, and where he is able to get a catch onto somebody, for example Bruce here. Bruce is over by the side. Show he's gonna get the Charm off. That's a decent amount of damage, forces the barrier as well as the dash. So FENNEL Adversity just gonna grab a couple of grab a Summoner Spell away from this Lucian here.
Yep, that is gonna be big. It's not the Flash, but Barrier means that the next time Power and him face off 1v1, it's gonna be that much easier for Power to win it. He will have the Ignite as well. Keep in mind, you no longer want Ysera to match Power in the side lane. It needs to be Bruce. And Bruce is as the biggest member as well, right? If he's in the side lane, that means his team loses a lot of power. It only comes down to locking here on the 6. I like the TP enchantment being picked up by Power. It will allow him to join in this Dragon team fight if he so wishes to. But I think the main priority for him shouldn't be to come to the fights. He should just try to end the game now in the Baron lane.
Let's see if they're going to be able to do it. Domain flashes away. Oh my goodness, have to commit to that
boy.
right away. There's the pressure coming through from Flash Wolves. They engage onto this fight. Nice catch onto the main targets. Power doing the best that he can. Builds up enough damage onto Cookie to force them
Domain
off. But
Troll
that's
of
a
the Hunt.
teleport committed to join in here. Sho still has his ultimate, so let's see if they're going to actually jump onto this. Ysera finally comes in, but he's on the side alone by himself. Does get away with the body slam, and then moving on to the Dragon instead.
FENNEL should get away from this. They have no ultimates, but it seems like Flash Wolves don't want to contest.
Well, it looks like Sho still has his ultimate. It's the only one left available for them. And it does seem like Domain secures the Dragon. Unfortunately, it's stuck in the pit. Has to flash over. Ruffy barely survives. Now that's going to be them. Ysera jumping in with the damage. Offloaded onto Danny. Offloaded onto Sho. They've taken down the Rengar. Domain is down. Danny returns fire. Returns back, and Flash Wolves have to back away from this jungle.
FENNEL Adversity playing on the knife's edge right there. That fight came down to Ysera's flash body slam, secures them to kill onto Domain, but that's the second dragon, an Ocean Dragon, which is going to help so much with this Fiora sustain in the split push as the game progresses. FENNEL Adversities, they're finding little edges in this game. They're not blowing the game open. Flash Wolves as well, they can't quite find a way in. They're trying to take team fights, but barely falling short every time. 2,000 gold up from Power. This Fiora is getting further and further ahead. Ysera, he's gonna start having a really hard time.
This series is starting to look much closer here.
Yeah.
Omo. The game number 4, the one for FENNEL Adversity, the pull ahead with. They win this series, and they move on to the group stage.
That's
so
correct.
it's so important that they grab this. But Flash Wolves, they're not making it easy for them here, almost. They are definitely putting up a good fight. Now, looking at the items, though, I have to mention Flash Wolves, it looks like they have a lot of magic damage. You see Ysera building towards the Raw of Ages as well here.
Yeah, we see a split source of damage, right? Cookie's likely gonna be going for a tankier build. I like what Flash Wolves are doing. They're guarding Bruce on the side lanes. That's really good. When we saw them lose games, that's when they would be guarding Ysera on the side lane, despite him being a weak side champion. Now guarding Bruce is definitely what they want to do. Domain looking for a bit of a hunt here, not gonna find anything, and another Troll of the Hunt is gonna be wasted. That's gonna be super detrimental for them.
Yeah, and no chances, no angles for them to jump on. Flash Wolves playing much more aware of this Rengar pick this time around, not giving the chance to FENNEL Adversity to punish them. In the meantime, Ysera doing a good job holding off against the likes of Sho, who has that Ari, who's going to have a lot of wave clear. So playing for some AP does make sense. You know, you want to have that amount just so you're able to keep clearing out waves and maintain some pressure in the side lane.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised that Power doesn't have the Blade of the Ruined King just yet. The TP purchase hurt him quite a bit in that sense. I think it stops his item spikes from being as powerful as it should be. But he wants to play for his team, which is something which I kind of understand, right? But I feel like at the same time, when you're the win condition of this team, you need to be running it down the side lane and just trying to take these turrets. And Adversity.
Quick map rotations from both sides. You can see Flash Wolves to grab that top turret, and then he started rotating into the mid lane to make sure that things were safe. This is the Flash Wolves that we were looking for. A team that was able to rotate and move together as a unit. But FENNEL Adversity, they've also shown us how well they're able to play with a composition that can split push, which can catch the side lanes, and they're doing that phenomenally. So now the question really has to be asked here, Omo. Which side do you expect to be able to scale up into the late game if they were to just keep playing it at a much slower pace?
If we are talking about 5v5 team fights, I think Flash Wolves is gonna take it. But I think if FENNEL Adversity continue to play to their win condition of side laning, I think Flash Wolves have no answer. So this game is really close. It's gonna be extremely execution reliant, and it's gonna come down to which team better understands and better executes towards their win condition.
Oh, look to see if Cookie can maybe make something happen on the show. They find the catch off first. Unbreakable stomps the tidal wave of the flash away from Rafi, will keep him safe. Flash Wolves come in a decent amount to engage.
They do, but Sho burns absolutely everything to stay alive. Spirit Rush, Flash, and Protobelt just to get out of dodge. Flash Wolves, they commit 4 ultimates of their own. That's going to be bad, though, as we come into this Dragon fight. FLA, I think they're going to feel confident. Power here, I think he wants to be looking at the side lane. I don't fancy this at all.
Yeah, sending Power into the mid and just to clear out these waves seems a little bit suspect. It might be the case that FENNEL Reverse, they really want to fight for this dragon, and so Power is going to try and get some control here. Fortunately for them, Flash Wolves are going to be nearby. Sarah's off in the Baron lane, not quite sure if he has to teleport. That's going to be engaged. Doming jumps in first. They find the charm off the teleport. It's going to come in, but it's a little bit too late. They're going to take down Cookie here first, but Power, he has to go in. He has to flash away though, and that's the fight breaking out. It's Flash Wolves that force off FENNEL Adversity, and now Flash Wolves are on the dragon.
Power should not be in these fights right now. We talk about the goal lead that he has, but he's not effective as a team fighter. That's just Fiora as a champion. Don't believe he has the teleport. Just gonna catch a top wave, and they're gonna have to give this one up. Flash Wolves get the Mountain Dragon.
Finally able to find some kind of return. Finally able to get a dragon off their own. Flash Wolves starting to come to form, being able to win these team fights out a little bit. But again, such close team fights happening every single time. It wasn't as it was a clear-cut Flash Wolves victory. FENNEL Adversity managed to escape relatively safe, dodges away, or maybe the charm misses.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
misses,
sure
but
which
he
way
still
to frame
flashes. It misses, but he still flashes, and that's a good call from FENNEL Adversity. I think they're really good at identifying opportunities to look for avenues to fight, to look for avenues to make picks, and I think that that's the difference between FENNEL and Flash Wolves. When Flash Wolves are behind, they just go down with a whimper. When FENNEL are behind, or even, even in the game, they look for opportunities. They might not find them, but they try, and that alone speaks for itself.
Looking at FENNEL Adversity, they still have the gold lead here, so once again, that goal difference is going to come down to Power in the side lane, or at least where he should be, but he hasn't really been playing
exactly, Gamenism, but he refuses to. He keeps trying to team fight, and that's also why I think this TP enchantment buy is a bit suspect, like you said, right? He needs to be split pushing. He shouldn't be coming to team fight. We saw what happened when they tried to team fight, right? They hit the spells, they hit the stuns, they hit the catches onto Cookie, but the moment Power dashes in, he has to flash out. It's just so unnecessary. Show on the flank. I like his position. Oh,
he's looking for the charm though, but it's given away where he is. FENNEL Adversity unable to commit onto the Flash Wolves. It's a little bit too difficult. The defense coming through, the wave clear from the Ziggs is just too much for FLA to deal with.
Gamenism Power has a Spirit Visage right now. Ysera can no longer touch him on the side lane. Locking's poke is going to be much less ineffective. But with that in mind, you have to keep in mind that Bruce is still one of the biggest damage threats here. You need some armor on Power before he feels confident diving Bruce in the side lanes. But I feel like that's only a matter of time. The timer of the Fiora is ticking. And Power, I feel like he should be able to take over the game soon. I know I've been saying that for a few minutes now, but this time for real.
Well, I mean, sure, Wild Rift is a pretty short game, so you have many opportunities to say that. It's 15 minutes in. This is shaping up to be a longer-ish game where teams are starting to hit that mid to late game, starting to hit level 12, level 13, 3 items completed, looking at a potential 4th. It's really who's able to itemize better in these moments. I think that's going to be the difference maker in a lot of these fights now. Power is in the side lane. Is Ysera on body blocking duty? He already commits the ultimate to try and prevent anything from happening. But Danny, he jumps in aggressively, forced the flash away. Cookie's moving in as well. That's a teleport, but it's been cancelled out. So they're on to Rafi. Now Cookie continues on with the assault and battery. Finds a little bit more damage. Finds some crowd control. They're moving on to
Power just push.
Look at Brooks. He's able to do so much here with the passive, with the hits. Takes down two.
Power should not be rotating to the team fight. He needs to be pushing. They cannot stop this. That was a huge mistake from Danny. Dashes forward to get caught. Power, if he catches... Oh, unfortunately, he doesn't. Cookie manages to flash away. This is going to be Baron for Flash Wolves.
Yeah, no mana available left on Power. It looks like Doming's maybe trying to find his way in. He goes in the pit, isn't able to steal it, but he's able to steal away one life for sure. Power's over by the side. No mana to continue onto this fight. They do manage to find a second pick onto the Ziggs. Locking has to go golden, trying to survive. Power's coming in over to the back. And like you mentioned, no mana means no chances. They're going to have to back away.
And FENNEL Adversity, they just want to team fight. Good call here to trade objectives at mid, but this is what they needed to be doing even earlier. Power taken to a sliver of health, saved by his Spirit Visage. I feel like this is just misunderstanding of the win condition for FENNEL Adversity. They need to realize Power needs to be in the side lane. Domain needs to follow him. Show can follow him as well. Danny and Rafi, they need to be the ones holding down the fort in the mid lane. Now we're gonna see it. The whole game gonna get coin flip on this Elder Dragon, I'm certain of it.
It's going to come down to this one moment on the other. Drake is Danny, one up again. He's going to use his Essence Flux. That was the cost of the last fight. That was what happened. The cost FENNEL Adversity, a massive team fight. And once again, it looks like it started off. It's going to be Flash Wolves that find their number. Ysera grabs a double. They've taken down Show as well. And FENNEL Adversity can do nothing but watch its Flash Wolves pull away with this Elder Inferno.
Domain, he wants to try to steal it, but it's going to be so hard.
Well, the first time didn't work on the Baron. He's trying to move on to the Drake now, but it's going to get forced away by Bruce, who has his number, just pushing them off. Vanny doing the best that he can, but blocked by Ysera. Cookie claims the Inferno Drake. Ysera won't go down, and Flash Wolves get away with this Elder.
And this is just such a frustrating game to watch. Power is such a massive gold lead, but he keeps trying to teamfight. And we see how worthless a Fiora is in a teamfight. He does nothing, comes in, gets hit by crowd control, immediately dies. They are failing to identify their win condition. And FENNEL Adversity, they are getting punished for it. Flash Wolves, they're looking to bring this to a game 5. Keep in mind, Grandin, the winner here moves on directly to group stages, while the loser will have to play a round robin to try to qualify. I think that will be tomorrow, right, Grandin?
Yeah, if they want to play in the last chance qualifier, they will play again tomorrow. So don't want to be in that position, though. I have to say, Omo, you just want to go in, get into the group stages off of this series.
Which is also why we see both of these teams playing it much slower, barring the mistake from Danny in the mid lane. Both of these teams have been playing relatively risk-free. Hopefully now, after having lost like 4 or 5 team fights, Power realizes that he can no longer come and he needs to just split push.
So hopefully, we're seeing Power in the side lane make something happen, but now with a lot more damage, I'm not sure the Spirit Vision is going to be enough from Ysera to stop. Ruffy's going to walk in, he pops the Unbreakable. I'm not sure what the decision was because he's caught in between members of Flash Wolves. They try and jump in, but look at the culling. It's unloaded the full barrage onto FENNEL Adversity. They're under turret now.
And this is looking to be a second inhibitor here for Flash Wolves. They want to keep things going. They want to run.
That's a teleport.
Look at how useless
Power.
this Fiora
He's in here trying to make something happen, but he has to flash away immediately.
Look at how useless Fiora is in a team fight. I don't know like how to contact FENNEL Adversity, but I just want to contact someone in their team and say, stop drafting Fiora if you want a team fight.
Well, let's see how they want to play this one out. The turret should be going down. You have the central charge, so that's going to be Ziggs confirming a second inhibitor. It's a good move for the Flash Wolves, who seem to have found their footing. Put Bruce on the Lucian, and he just pops off.
Yeah, Bruce on the Lucian. The last time these two teams faced off, it was a 1-1 split. Oh, we'll have to hold that thought, though. I think FLA, they want to force this. They want to go all in.
Wow, but Doming, I'm not sure jumping into 4 is going to be the right play, and it looks like they're following through with it. But Power, he's in a bad spot, baited by his teammate. A double kill, and FENNEL Adversity flood in one at a time, trickling in, channeling themselves into Flash Wolves.
FENNEL Adversity fall apart at the seams. They were so close to the finish line. They're gonna drop this game off the back of mistakes from individual players, misunderstanding their win condition. Flash Wolves, they march in the Nexus.
Yeah, moving on to this, and it's just down to Rafi and Danny to secure the game. Unfortunately, the Nexus is there, and it's going to be Flash Wolves taking this one, and we're moving into game number 5.
Did you believe, Grandin? Did you believe that Flash Wolves would be able to